Baseball is back. Not Major League Baseball. Players have reported, so full camps are in spring training, but specifically, college baseball is back. Let's talk about the potential picks at 1-1 for the White Sox in the 2026 MLB draft here on the CHGO White Sox podcast. CHGO White Sox podcast. I'm your host, Sean Anderson, coming to you live from Studio West of our West Loop offices here in downtown Chicago. This is the CHGO White Sox podcast, being produced today by my pal, Sarah.
Hi.
Hello. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribing to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. And if you do have any thoughts on your Chicago White Sox, our Chicago White Sox, hit that comment section and let us know your thoughts on the offseason, any players in specific. On today's show, we will be getting into a smattering of events. We did have the start of the college baseball season. UCLA played the University of California, San Diego. So we will talk about Roch Cholowsky's first series. And then we will talk about Justin Lebron, who is our headline today, and pretty much talking about the idea of, will anyone actually compete with Roch Cholowsky to be the number one overall pick when the White Sox select in July for the 2026 MLB draft. Then we'll talk about some Munetaka Murakami stuff. Just more and more videos have come out of him taking live BP. Some things I liked, some things that stood out to me, not even in a bad way. But then also we'll talk about his ability to play third base, and we'll also talk about his power projections if I think that he'll surpass the projections that are currently given out on Fangraphs. We will also talk about the Austin Voth signing. Seam shifted weight guy, woohoo. It's a minor league deal. We'll see what happens. And then we'll have a quick question on if the White Sox should pick up Jack Sawinski, who was just DFA'd by the Pittsburgh Pirates. Local guy, local product. So we have to talk about him. And we'll do all that here on the CHGO White Sox podcast. We also do have a diehard question, which I think we'll just start off with. Is this the big takeaway? Should we do this? This is the big takeaway from our friends over at Xfinity. Well, we're going to do it mainly because if you want to become a diehard, we're always looking for more and more people to hang out with us in the White Sox chat. There's a consistent few in there, but we're always looking for people that are just diehard sickos about the White Sox. This is the big takeaway presented by Xfinity. Imagine that. This is from Fresco Elmo. Who makes it to the big league roster first? Tanner McDougal, Noah Schultz, Hagen Smith. I think it's going to be Tanner McDougal. I think when you look back at the Rule 5 draft and the deadline to add players to the 40-man roster, it seemed pretty clear that they obviously liked Tanner McDougal enough to protect him. But even then, Fangraphs just put out their top 100 prospect list. He's on 104, or he's at 104. So Tanner McDougal coming in at the back end of the top 100 prospect list. This feels very Sean Burkian. Sean Burke ended up being the opening day roster or the opening day starter for the White Sox in 2025, and that seemed to be a fairly surprising pick. Not in any way negative for Sean Burke, but he did really show himself during spring training. And I do think McDougal, with him being selected in 2021, him being, I think, 24 at this point, he is further along, although it took him longer to show off in high A, double A. He looked fantastic with Birmingham last year, and it does seem like this is a player that's really gaining steam forward. And I think with his age specifically, and the fact that he was a 5th-round pick in a round or a draft that only had 5 rounds, he was a somewhat shot in the dark. And the fact that he's even played out to this point where people think as highly as they do, where he's a near top 100 prospect, I think that Tanner McDougal, if there's an injury, I don't think he'll break out of camp, but if there's an injury, I do think that Tanner McDougal would be the first, an injury to a starter, the first player called up, because he's already on the 40-man roster. I believe, I don't think Noah and Hagen have been added yet. So I do think that Tanner McDougal is the first in line for that. Noah Schultz just talked to Chuck Garfien with the White Sox Talk podcast, or the CHSN White Sox Talk podcast, and Noah finally said the thing that I've been waiting for, the thing that I've just been dying for Noah Schultz to say he's eating 5,000 to 6,000 calories a day, 750 grams of carbs or something. I don't know what that means for the human body, but he said he's bigger. And I think he's now at like 240. And even Chuck said physically, you look completely different. And I do think that Schultz will be, I don't want to say this is a make or break year for him, but this is truly like, is this a project or is this a guy? Because this player has ace potential. So I do think Noah is a little bit more of a project to where they want to see him go out and maybe have a decent 5 to 8 starts in AAA, and then we could see him get called up. But I think that would be after McDougal. And then finally, Hagen has to first make it to Charlotte before he even makes it to the major leagues. And while his back end of the season was decent, I don't think it was decent enough to even put him where Noah is. Noah, if he's healthy and he looks like he's firing on all cylinders, they might just test it. He's extremely, extremely unique. Again, I think only 11 players in Major League Baseball history have been listed at 6'10" or taller that have thrown major league innings. Only 4 of them have gotten to over 100 innings pitched in their career. Noah Schultz would be extremely, extremely unique. Ryan in the chat saying Schultz is getting beefy in a good way. We love getting beefy in any way, but especially in a good way. And then Hagen, though, I do think he's a little bit farther out. So I'd put them in the order that you actually put out there, Fresco Elmo, saying who makes it to the big league roster first. I would say Tanner, then Noah. I think Hagen has the possibility to make it maybe around September, but I think it's likely that if Hagen Smith is going to get called up, it'd be 2027. All right, we do see some comments funneling in. Hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribing to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. Reyes Pro 2007 is a member of the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. You do unlock special emojis. I think there's a Carm video from the Super Bowl. There's a Will Gottlieb with Dalen Terry.
Yeah, we put out exclusive stuff just for our members only.
Dalen Terry got traded, didn't he?
Dalen Terry. Yes.
Patrick?
Yes, he did. Yes,
thumbs
he did.
up on a Dalen Terry trade? Yeah. Okay,
yes.
So he got cut, and now he's on the Sixers, but not the Bulls. So that's a real relic there. Former Bull, Dalen Terry, was in our office. And then, what's up, everyone? Mr. White Sox, Baseball Toss, Reyes Pro. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Let's get to Baseball Toss Point because this is the headline of our topic, of our podcast. That was the big takeaway presented by Xfinity. Imagine that the White Sox, what will they do with the first overall pick? I do want to say, in the whole Luis Angel Acuna thing, I had to listen to a lot of Chris Getz talk. And while he did mention 4 times that Luis Angel Acuna was a switch hitter when he's not, he also mentioned and went into very, very just in-depth detail of how excited he is about having the number 1 overall pick. I thought it wasn't that big of a deal. Maybe it's just because I'm a little bit jaded because they had to lose 324 games in the past 3 years to get that number 1 overall pick. And they had the highest odds ever to get the number 1 overall pick. So it wasn't like joy. It was just more relief that I felt once they got the number 1 overall pick. But Chris did feel a lot of joy. And it does seem like he's extremely, extremely excited for this opportunity. And while it does seem like Roch Cholowsky is the clear-cut 1-1, we have to think, who else could it be? We'll get into some Fangraph stuff because they put out their board today or this weekend. And we'll get into their prospect rankings for college. But Justin Lebron of Alabama, the shortstop, made a decent amount of headlines this weekend. Saw 2 highlight homers for him. And I wanted to go into the numbers. And if you're just watching highlights, right, what did LeBron do this weekend? What did Cholowsky do? And is Cholowsky truly, by far, the number 1 college prospect out there? There is still some prep players that could factor in, Grady Emerson, one of them. But the college players, is Roch Cholowsky the best college player right now in college baseball? Justin LeBron, this weekend, 3 for 11, 2 hits, or 2 of those hits were home runs, had a 273 average, 429 on base percentage, 818 slugging percentage. He also had 3 stolen bases on 3 attempts. He had 0 strikeouts, 3 walks, and an error in the field. So decent, had 14 plate appearances, got on base 6 times, 818 slugging percentage isn't that bad. So that's pretty decent. Then he obviously shows the speed there. Did make an error in the field, which he doesn't seem to be this sharpened project, which Roch Cholowsky seems to be. And I feel like, Justin LeBron seems closer to a Tim Anderson or a Luis Robert Jr. type, where the athleticism seems to be so tantalizing. But something that Roch Cholowsky, I think, might get overlooked for is his consistency. And one thing that I think you need to look at with a prospect is their consistency. You're looking for a player that can go out and do this in 162 games. And while Luis Robert Jr.'s one game in 2025, if you pick out his best game, might look a lot better than, let's say TJ Friedl, right? Friedl is a very unique player. Most bunt hits since like 2023. It was a great video from Just Baseball out there. Right. But even though he doesn't do the amazing or eye-popping things, Friedl, consistently he is a better player. It does seem like Cholowsky consistently is a better player, although the athleticism for LeBron might be there. Cholowsky against the University of California, San Diego, 4 for 12, 333 average, 400 on base percentage, 750 slugging percentage, 2 doubles. Both of them could have been homers. We'll talk about it in a second. One of them was a homer. So 3 of his 4 hits were extra base hits, 2 doubles, 1 homer, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts for Cholowsky. And then at Adrian White Sox over at Future Sox put together a huge highlight reel of Cholowsky's first games against University of California, San Diego. So if you do want to see Cholowsky play, you can go see for yourself. Looking through the highlights in game 1, top of the second, balls hit up the middle. It's a smoked ball on the ground. And I was impressed by Cholowsky's ability to be pretty shifted towards third base, be able to take like 4 steps, dive out, and hit his glove. It seemed like it should have just rocketed past him, but the fact that it even hit his glove to a point where it really got deflected impressed me. It does seem, again, when we're talking to Joe Doyle, and we'll bring up him in a second in some clips, he mentions Troy Tulowitzki as a comparison, and it does seem like he is a big-bodied shortstop in that ilk of Troy Tulowitzki. In the top of the 4th, makes a Colson-ish play, if you remember back to Colorado, where he goes back into left field and makes a backwards catch. Colson's was a little bit more athletic, I think, a little bit more on the run, where I feel like Cholowsky did the diving basket catch mostly to make sure that he caught it, but it was still a really nice play. Running back behind him, sliding basket catch, very nice in the top of the 4th. Top of the 5th, a play well behind the bag at second base. It's pretty much at the second baseman. The second baseman's standing there, and Cholowsky runs from shortstop in front of the second baseman, makes a throw on the run, taking himself into right field. It was a very nice play, beautiful rangy play there from Cholowsky. And then the bottom of the 8th, it was a nice highlight, but it might have also been a extreme low light for Cholowsky. He nails a double off the top of the wall, and the left fielder makes a great throw into the cutoff man. But there's no second baseman, or at least there's no one covering second baseman. There's no first baseman covering the bag. And again, it could have been a tough one for Roch. It could have been him getting thrown out at second base, but a just drilled ball out to left center field for Cholowsky. Game 2, first at bat, first pitch, homer for Cholowsky. It seemed to be a slider that got hung up, but hang him, bang him. It does seem like his swing is very inside out. It does seem like he does have an ability to get his barrel like very out in front. It seems Bregman-ish. Bregman seems like he'd be able to turn in a phone booth if we're using offensive lineman terminology. It seems like Cholowsky also could probably get a swing off in a phone booth. He's just very tight to the body. And it just seems like, again, that consistency will be able to carry him throughout a major league season. He faced a lot of breaking balls per the broadcast as well. Bottom 5th, he had an opposite field double that pretty much hit the warning track. It was a very nice, clean double. Bottom of the 8th, bases loaded. He hits a warning track opposite field sac fly. So again, although it is only 2 doubles and a homer, 6 balls that were absolutely killed for him. And then in game 3, bottom of the 4th, he had a double deep to center field that again hits the warning track. We have 3 clips after the break that we'll talk about that kind of emphasize or further emphasize Cholowsky's impressiveness or Cholowsky's kind of lead in front of the rest of the class. I do think LeBron is an interesting player, but when you do look at Fangraphs, the board, and you look at their projections for the 2026 MLB draft, Cholowsky is the only player with a 55 future value. There's AJ Gracia, I believe formerly of Duke, now at Virginia, 50 future value. Jackson Flora, who was very impressive out of UC Santa Barbara, hitting 100, very, very flat fastball, future value of 50. And then Grady Emerson, prep prospect that we'll talk about. We'll hear from Joe Doyle, I think, in a second. And then Van Lackey, currently playing at Georgia Tech, 50 future value. Outside of that, there's Ace Reese, who I think was mentioned in the chat, Mississippi State, 45 plus future value. And then LeBron, who we've been talking about, the shortstop out of Alabama, 45 plus future value. it just seems like Cholowsky, although the peaks might not be as impressive as LeBron, he will be able to hit peaks more consistently. And I think that's the thing that really has sold me on Cholowsky. We'll hear from Jeff Ponce and Joe Doyle after the break here on the CHGO White Sox podcast. We want to let you know about our friends over at Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary with our friends over at Bet365. New customers, go sign up with our code CHGO365. And when you make your first wager of $5, whether that wager wins or loses, you get $200 in bonus bets to bet on spreads, totals, player props, futures, and more, whatever your heart desires on. We are also closing in on Major League Baseball returning on the 20th. We will have spring training. So, hey, you're only 4 days away from being able to bet on Major League Baseball spring training version, but still some version of it. And you have the ability to bet on those big games that are currently going on in Milan. There's some great hockey that's currently happening. And maybe you like Munetaka Murakami to win Rookie of the Year. I think it's a pretty decent bet when looking at the odds. Jim Cook, our guy, does not like it, but I like it. So maybe you should bet on it because Jim sucks. Anyways, use code CHGO365. When you sign up, use code CHGO365. You bet $5, you get $200 in bonus bets if you win or lose. Bonus bets can be used on spreads, totals, player props, futures, and more because whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus. If you are someone who has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER in-app only. We also want to let you know about our friends over at Four Seasons. For all the right reasons, call 866-4-SEASONS. I was off, and I don't think I was singing. Winter is here. Doesn't feel like it. It's very warm, but the thing that you will hate is when it gets back to sub 30, sub 20s, and your home's heating is not up for the challenge. Go check out our friends over at Four Seasons because now is the time to schedule your Four Seasons furnace tune-up. And if you're thinking about a whole home generator, they have you covered. At Four Seasons, they guarantee same-day installation on all your heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical, and generator needs with no extra charges for nights, weekends, or holidays. You can save up to $4,000 on furnace and comfort systems with Four Seasons heating, air conditioning, plumbing, sewer, and electric. Furnaces start at $39 a month, and furnace AC combos start at $57 a month. And you could call today and save $50 from your trusted local experts. Four Seasons, your trusted local experts for heating, air conditioning, plumbing, sewer, and electric. They've been serving Chicagoland for over 50 years. Visit FourSeasonsHeatingCooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's FourSeasonsHeatingCooling.com. Welcome back to the CHGO White Sox podcast. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button and make sure you're subscribing to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. Appreciate everyone hanging out with us in the chat. Shout out to Ian as well from Future Sox in the chat. Appreciate you guys talking about Miles Bailey. White Sox legend. Don't forget it. Even though he didn't sign, Miles Bailey, who had a massive bomb for Florida State this weekend, also White Sox legend. Hopefully they're able to sign him when he finally comes out of the draft. He might be very, very expensive because he looks very, very good. But anyways, let's talk a little bit about Roch Cholowsky and how he really has separated himself from the rest of the class. Let's go first to Jeff Ponce. Do we have that one? I asked Jeff what he thinks about the space between Roch Cholowsky and all the other ones. No, it's the other one. The completely different guy. Okay, all right, cool. I sent you two. My bad. Jeff pretty much says though this is not a Eli Willits. It's you don't have to get us, Sarah. It's fine. We'll just go to Joe. You do have it? Okay, all right. Well, we'll figure it out. You don't have it. You don't have it. I don't think you have it, Sarah. With respect. Anyways, Jeff pretty much says this is not like Eli Willits. This is more in the kin of Adley Rutschman. This is more akin to not even Bryce Harper, and he didn't even want to go as further as Chris Bryant because Chris Bryant's swing was very, very elite. But this does seem to be head and shoulders above everyone else. And I understand that, prospect grades and rankings and write-ups can change. You can look at the Connor Griffin write-up from Fangraphs today, and they are glowing about him. You wonder why he even felt a 10th if this player of this talent was out there, and it's mainly because Connor Griffin was able to do so much work and he'd be able to separate himself so much from draft day to eventually making his professional debut. Could Billy Carlson be that type of player? Sure. Billy Carlson would also have to have a lot of muscle and rework his swing. It's possible, but it does just seem, again, Cholowsky has consistently been this player. and I'm DeBaron saying, I mean, they should do their due diligence, but you don't need to overthink that. That's pretty much what I was trying to show. We're going to go to the Joe Doyle clip here now. But yeah, it's pretty much, even though you might be seeing Justin LeBron hitting home runs, it does seem very, very clearly that this is the top player in the draft. Let's go to the Joe Doyle Roch clip, and feel free to play that one. Here is Joe Doyle of Overslot Podcast talking about Cholowsky.
As far as a consensus goes in like October, November, we're talking 9-10 months out from the draft. I don't know if there are many other players that are as consensus 1-1 as Roch. I think a better way of looking at this is what are the odds of him going pole to pole? Because I think that's the most fascinating thing to look at. If you go back the last 16, 17 years, it's Bryce Harper, who was the number one unanimous prospect, ends up going number one. And then I think in 2019, a lot of people would say Adley Rutschman went pole to pole. There were some Bobby Witt Jr. believers way before that draft, and he's turned out to be an all-pro, of course. But yeah, I mean, the player that comes into the year as the 1-1 prohibitive, no doubt slam dunk favorite to go first overall generally doesn't go first overall. But then again, you just don't see this polished of a college hitter at a premium position most years. So because of that, I think Roch has as good a chance as anybody since Bryce Harper to go pole to pole.
And the fun thing, too, and this is even shown in Fangraphs write-up from Eric Lagerhagen, is that Cholowsky's highlight defensive ability is the bedrock of his game. His hands, actions, and body controls are incredible and makes him a potential Gold Glove shortstop despite middling range. And again, the play that he doesn't even make, that he almost makes, that diving play that's just smoked up the middle, impressed me. Just the fact that he was able to get there. Fangraphs talks about how he might depreciate closer to his 30s and may have to move over to third base, but it does seem like he does have a big arm attached to him. And again, it does seem similar to Dansby Swanson. It seems similar to Alex Bregman. They seem like short, compact swings and guys that just will just be very, very, very consistent. So yeah, I think Cholowsky is the guy. And it seems like it seems like anything foolish would be overthinking it. It doesn't seem like the White Sox should be afraid of, not committing that bonus pool money to him. We have Jason asking if Skeens was in this draft, would the White Sox take him or Roch? That's a different question completely, but at least to work Skeens into this, Josh Nelson put out pretty much that, Skeens is the largest draft signing bonus ever. I think it's $9.1 million. The Sox have $11 million that they can give possibly to Cholowsky. It's likely he will get the most money, but it's likely he won't even max them out. Even Skeens, who seemed to be an undeniable talent, didn't even get, I think the full of his signing bonus. I think he's still signed under, I think $900K under or something like that. So he could still break records at 9.5, 9.9, and he's still the number one overall pick. And that's, I think, what really is a big thing for Cholowsky. Someone asked why he doesn't go by Daniel, and he goes by Roch. And that's because his dad's Dan. So Dan Jr., Dan Cholowsky Jr., Daniel Cholowsky Jr., I don't know. I don't know about DCJ, right? I like Roch. Roch sounds a lot cooler. And there's also a story that Denzel Washington shared, that his name isn't actually Denzel Washington, it's Denzel Washington, and his father's name is Denzel, and his mother, to separate them, said, your father is Denzel, you are Denzel. So if you hear anyone named Denzel, it's basically them copying off of Denzel Washington's mother, separating the two juniors. So I think it's also just, if you say, hey, Daniel in the house, if you're Roch Cholowsky's mother, you're going to get two Daniels showing up. So if you say Roch, well, there you go. Roch shows up because there's only one Roch. All right, the final one. You did you pull this from? Is this about Contreras? Okay, so this is the video 3. Yeah, let's go to video 3, and this is another one from Joe Doyle. Again, just kind of talking about Cholowsky's separation.
Well, there's two different types. There's Grady Emerson, who, listen, Roch is the odds-on favorite to go 1-1, but I don't think, if you were to look back, if you look forward 3 years from now, Grady Emerson might be just as good a prospect as Roch Cholowsky. He's a better runner. He's just as good of a defender, at least from this lens. He's left-handed, and he is putting up the same types of metrics in the high school side of things that Roch has done, over the last 3 years. So Grady Emerson is polished, but the guy that you brought up at the very beginning of this podcast, Jacob Lombard, some of the most unbelievable tools you will see from a high school. I'm talking like Elijah Green level tools. We're talking 40 home run power. We're talking big arm strength. We're talking 40 stolen base upside. I mean, Bobby Witt level production. The issue is, much like Ethan Holiday in the 2025 draft, there's a lot of swing and miss, and there's a lot of chase, and the production wasn't there for Team USA this year. That all being said, that's the guy that you don't draft, and you look at it 5 years from now, and it's like, how did this guy that is hitting 290 with 35 home runs and, going 30-30 and annual All-Star, bloodlines, his brother is a top prospect for the Yankees, how did he not go in the top 2 or 3? That's the guy I would watch out for. But still, like, the MLB draft is an exercise in risk and reward, right? Ceiling and floor. And when you look at Roch Cholowsky, not only is the ceiling substantial, sensational, the floor is also so high.
Again, I think the way that you can sum that up is consistency. I think Roch Cholowsky gives you consistency. And when Joe brings up the possible prep players, the ones that could be, the Bobby Witt after Adley Rutschman in 2019, it's mainly, it's the possibility those prep players can be better or immense. But you have a player that still was near a top first-round pick in Cholowsky. It seemed like he was going to be back half of the first round in 2023, and he has gone to college, put in a ton of consistency into his game, and has shown that not only was he worth a first-round pick in 2023, it now seems to be undeniable how consistent this player can be. Now you look at the players that he's compared to, the 2023 prep shortstops that were drafted, even though he went to college and is going to get drafted, he's likely going to be ranked higher when it comes to prospect rankings then Colton Emerson, then Lombard, who I think is behind him and was in that prep shortstop class as well. It just seems like the consistency for Cholowsky will be undeniable. And again, he had a better weekend than LeBron. So if you are seeing Justin Lebron highlights, maybe you'll be seeing Justin LeBron in like an Angels uniform or something like that. I don't think you'll be seeing him in a White Sox uniform. It's a shame we won't see a LeBron 23 White Sox uniform. You could still make it for the fun of it. But yeah, I think, again, if you have any doubts on Cholowsky, just thank God you're not the GM. And if it goes poorly, you won't get fired. But I don't think this will go poorly. I do think that Cholowsky seems to be a slam dunk here at 1-1, and he does seem destined to be a White Sox. Appreciate everyone hanging out with us in the chat. We're going to take another break here on the CHGO White Sox. We're going to talk about Munetaka Murakami. We'll talk about Austin Voth, and we'll talk about Jack Sawinski, who was just DFA'd by the Pirates. If you have any thoughts, let us know in the chats. And also, they're taking a shortstop. It doesn't matter. I see people talking about Billy Carlson. Hey, you know what? Let's have Billy Carlson play a damn game, okay, before we even worry about where Billy Carlson will play. Anyways, we'll take a break here on the CHGO White Sox podcast. We want to let you know about our friends over at Huel. Get your fuel from our friends over at Huel. Can you believe that we are already a month and a half into 2026? And that doesn't mean if you set January goals that you have to move away from them. If you are looking to hit your macros, Huel is a perfect solution for high-protein routine support, busy days, habit building, convenience, and control for this year. I have mainly used it as a meal replacement. I have forgotten my lunch 1, 2, 3 times in 2026. I haven't let being forgetful behind in 2026. And Huel has been an absolute lifesaver. It is fast to take down, very easy to drink, under $5 a meal. It's gluten-free. There's no artificial sweeteners, colors, or flavors. And you get 35 grams of protein and 27 essential vitamins and minerals, which is super important for those powder heads, those protein powder heads. They also have Black Edition powder as well. So if you want to control what you are making, if you do want it to make it a little thicker, a little thinner, if you want to add a little bit more protein, you can check out the powder to check it out. But limited time offer, head over to huel.com/WhiteSox15. Use our code WhiteSox15 for 15% off online with our code. New customers only, and thank you to Huel for partnering and supporting our show. Huel.com/WhiteSox15 is where you can go check them out. If you're busy, this is a game changer. Go check out their auto show sales event happening in Fox Lake. Ray, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram are giving you your great chance to score a great deal at the auto show sales event. Head to Ray, CDJR on Route 12 today to choose from their huge inventory of, you guessed it, new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram vehicles. And right now, get 0% financing for 72 months on new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram models. Plus, shop over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000 with a friendly team of brand experts. The team at Ray CDJR is here to help you during each step of your car shopping journey. And since they prioritize affordability, they know you won't overpay with them for the vehicle that you need. And with Ray's Price Promise, you can shop confidently with no add-ons or hidden fees ever. The price you see is the price you pay. It's very simple over at Ray CDJR. So go check them out to shop one of Chicago area's largest inventories and find the right vehicle for you. Visit the team at Ray CDJR because they are the only team we recommend. Don't miss out on an auto show sales event for huge savings on new models. For more information, visit Ray CDJR on Route 12 in Fox Lake or online at raycdjr.com. They've been serving the community since 1963. Welcome back to the CHGO White Sox podcast. Appreciate everyone hanging out with us, whether you are a usual like Ryan, Uncle Ted, new ones like I'm DeBaron. Ian's been hanging out with us a little bit. Also, tell James Fox that he stinks and smells. We want to let you know about our trip out to Arizona. We're taking a CHGO road trip out to spring training on March 5th to the 8th in 2026. It's presented by our friends over at Shady Rays. Use code CHGO to get 35% off polarized shades. We are doing a Bulls game on the 5th. On the 6th, there's a golf event and a Sox game, and then there's some fun in between on the 7th and 8th. You can go to allchgo.com/events if you want to get the entire itinerary. You can also get a la carte menus options as well. So if you just want to go to the Sox game, go check that out at allchgo.com/events. All right, let's jump into some Munetaka Murakami stuff. The one thing that stuck out to me, and this was over at Yamada MLB. He's done a fantastic job coming over from Japan to cover Munetaka Murakami. It's my first introduction to him. And he had like an exit velocity meter on his phone. And he had one batting practice where Murakami hit a 115 mile per hour exit velocity, which is not surprising to anyone. Again, this guy touts top level power. But the one thing, seeing the side angle of his swing, it's very, very short and compact. In a weird way, he looks like Gunnar Henderson, the way he swings a bat. It's Pete Alonso maybe-ish from the left side. It's very, very tight and compact, and I cannot wait to get bat tracking on his bat. And a long swing is like 8.5 feet, 8 feet and an inch. I think Schwarber's is like 7 feet 9 inches. Typically, like Colson has a very long bat swing. Typically, power guys have long bat speeds to create, or long bats paths to create that pop. But it does seem like Murakami's able to produce it on very short and tight, compact swings. So I think that not only plays well for his power, obviously, but I think it's going to play well for his ability to make contact. There's a great MLB article from 2024 when Gunnar Henderson was having his success. And they talked about leadoff hitters that have short, compact swings that also swing the bat fast. And Henderson seems to be, the king of that, or at least was back in 2024. And it does seem like Murakami would at least be able to be up there come 2026 once we see a final StatCast reading on his bat path. And I can't wait that now StatCast is all around at spring training. So on the 20th, we should be able to see first StatCast data of Munetaka Murakami. Along with that, Will Venable has said that he will be playing some third base for the White Sox because he is playing some third base at the World Baseball Classic for Japan. And that, like, if we're going to dream, and obviously it could suck, this is going to be a waste of $34 million. This could be, there's a reason why the White Sox ended up getting him. I think Josh Barfield made a comment that the White Sox really didn't think much of when they were putting in their submission, and then 2 days before they actually signed him, they had a meeting at 10 p.m., and then that's when it really started to feel real for the White Sox. If he is able to come over and adapt to the Major League Baseball, and if maybe he's a little bit better of an athlete than we think, James Fegan was talking on the Sox Machine podcast that he seems to be a lot leaner than originally thought, that while he does seem to be a very big frame player, it doesn't mean that he's like bulky at all. So what if he is a little bit of fleeter of foot than we think? And what if he's able to play like average defense at third base and hit 35 homers? This dude's going to be very, very valuable. I'm just excited to see what he can possibly bring. Like although Colson Montgomery had that fantastic year last year, there is nothing more exciting right now than Munetaka Murakami on the White Sox. The massive power projections are coming in from Fangraphs. They have several projection systems, FGDC, Steamer, Zips, ATC, The Bat, and Oopsie. Some of them are very similar. 4 of them are projecting him to hit 30 homers. GDC, Steamer, the Bat, and Oopsie all projecting 30 homers for Murakami. Zips is projecting 24. ATC is projecting 27. The lowest slugging percentage projected for Murakami is 431. The highest slugging percentage projected for Murakami is 457. I feel like I'm taking the over on all this. If he's able to play 150 games, I think that he's going to be able to be a 470 plus slugger. I think that, maybe the average might be lower than he expected, but he's going to make his money off the isolated power, off of his slugging percentage. And it does seem like he is going to have 35-ish homer potential. Joey Gallo struck out a ton. Didn't mean he didn't hit home runs. It does seem like Munetaka Murakami has a lot better contact than Joey Gallo or some of the other failed major league sluggers that go over to the MPB, like Luke Voit, right? Like, it does seem like Murakami has better contact skills than any of these players. I am getting fairly excited for Murakami. Even you look at the high slugging percentage projection, that doesn't really do that well when it comes to first base slugging percentage. He'd just be outside the top 10. Naylor was 10th last year at 462. He'd just be slightly above Alec Burleson at 459. Hey, 2 WAR isn't decent or isn't bad at all, but Burleson and Torkelson around 459, 456 slugging percentage, and they had about 2.3, 2 WAR. If you're not expecting Murakami to be a decent defender at first base, you'd hope for 460 plus at first base, at least slugging percentage wise. But then you look at the third baseman, and if he was able to play third base, again, just fine. Junior Caminero, negative 0.4 defensive value. Eugenio Suarez, negative 0.7 defensive value. Those 3 guys, or those 2 guys, with negative defensive WAR over at third base, still 4.6 WAR player, 3.8 WAR player, 535 slugging percentage, 426 slugging percentage for Caminero and Suarez. If Murakami was at 457, even on the high end of that projection, he would be 5th among qualified major league third basemen, right behind Manny Machado. So if he does actually have flexibility to play other defensive positions, and that will be proven at World Baseball Classic, I'd be very intrigued at Munetaka Murakami, the third baseman, because if they're trading him as a third baseman that's hitting 35 homers and playing average defense, look out. And that's another question, too, by Lexi in our Die Hard Discord. Appreciate the question. If Murakami is good, he's probably getting traded this summer, right? It's highly likely. I wouldn't put it past the White Sox if they're 6 games below 500 closing into the trade deadline. I don't think Getz would say no to, let's just hold him, ride it out to the end of the year, and then do right by the player in a way by trading him in the offseason. Because if Murakami is good, he will still have value in the offseason. That $17 million contract at first base, if he's hitting 35 home runs, will not look like anything. He will be a tradable asset in the offseason. So I don't think that their return would be that much dampened if they waited. Maybe it's a prospect or 2, maybe it's a ranking or 2. But if they held out until the offseason, I don't think that would be the worst idea. Especially trading a guy that's just made his acclimation over from Japan, and then you're having a move and switch. I think just for the player itself, I don't know if they're looking to trade him this year. But I wouldn't put it past trading him in the offseason to 2027 because, again, the guy looks really damn good. We have a minor league signing. Austin Voth has been signed from the NPB. He is a seam-shifted wake guy, last pitched for the Mariners back in 2024. Sarah, if you want to go to the Austin Voth TJ stats graph. Voth, you can notice, pretty decent cutter. 101 TJ Stuff Plus, 54 grade on the cutter. You look at the four-seamer, 107 Stuff Plus, 59 grade on the four-seam fastball. He is a right-handed pitcher, 33 years of age. Doesn't throw with much velocity. Sits 93.5 miles per hour on his four-seam fastball, 89 on the cutter. The big thing for him is his sweeper. And while it's not that decent, it does set up the cutter and the four-seam fastball. Weak contact made on the cutter and the four-seam fastball. You look at the expected weighted on base average against the four-seamer, it's 286. The expected weighted on base average against the cutter, it's 319. However, I think the big thing that sticks out for him is the K minus walk percentage. He's able to strike out 24.5% of the batters that he saw in 61 innings, 7.3% walk rate. That's fairly decent when you're over 15% K minus walk That's very, very good. The thing, though, Sarah, if you want to go to the MPB stuff, I don't think that he's, that interesting. I don't think he's going to make this team, at least coming opening day 2026. He did add a changeup, which I found a little bit interesting. He didn't have a changeup back with the Mariners, but now you could see a changeup, although it wasn't used massively. It was used 10.1% of the time, and a decent amount against lefties, 16.4% of the time against lefties. He does have something else against lefties, so maybe he's able to differentiate himself a little bit there. But the cutter worked decently over at MPB. Not much else. And it does seem like the slider maybe changed forms a little bit. You could see against right-handers that pitch plot. It's maybe not as, it's located in the same way against the cutter, but it seems to be a little bit sharper. Seems to have a little bit more movement glove side, and maybe be less of a sweeper. We are seeing the sweeper come out of fashion, but it does seem like this is a seam-shifted weight guy, and that's similar to Eric Fetty. And then I thought something that was interesting over from SoxMachine.com. Fetty talked about his first bullpen session with Brian Bannister behind him, and he talked about how Bannister immediately noticed that he wasn't being as linear. We talked about how he needs to change his cutter, that being Eric Fetty. He wasn't getting the sharpness of it. It seemed like it flattened out a little bit. It wasn't dropping as much. It wasn't moving as much arm side as it typically was in 2024. I wonder if him being linear will unlock a little bit of what we saw from Eric Fetty in 2024. And then finally, a quick question. As the Pirates have DFA'd Jack Suwinski, should the White Sox pick up the DFA'd Jack Suwinski local product? I don't think they will. I don't know if it's impossible. They did not get Mike Tauchman. Mike Tauchman went to the Mets on a minor league deal. I found that a little bit surprising. But then looking at their opening day roster, it seemed like Carson Benj was going to be their right fielder. I think it's probably going to be Mike Tauchman. There's that stat from Foolish Baseball. I think since 2021, there's 12 players that have a on-base percentage over 375. Mike Tauchman's like the 11th player on that list, along with like Tucker, Ohtani, etc. So I think maybe if they missed out on Tauchman and they were thinking of maybe Tauchman being a part of the White Sox camp, maybe they look into Suwinski. The one possibility that they do have is while they're at 40 men on their current 40-man roster, they do have Thorpe and Baroa. I think that's it. Thorpe and Baroa, who could be added to the 60-day IL. Bush was already added to it. So if they do think Thorpe will take longer, they could add Thorpe to the 60-day IL and free up a spot for Suwinski. But I think he's just very similar to Kelenic. And I do think Kelenic has a more of an ability to make contact. And that's the biggest thing with Suwinski is he's pretty much a 3 true outcome guy. Doesn't chase a ton, which is obviously interesting, but he also doesn't make a ton of contact. When we're looking at Munetaka Murakami and the downsides of him over at the MPB, it does seem like the zone contact is a huge issue for Munetaka Murakami. That's a huge issue for Suwinski. He is able to put a decent amount of damage on the ball, but he isn't really able to find that consistency. Again, he doesn't chase the ball. He hits the ball hard. He doesn't chase the ball. He hits the ball hard, but he also doesn't make a ton of contact, which I think is going to be just kind of a deal breaker at the end of the day. A little faster than an average. Okay defender. Nothing great. I don't think he's going to be their option in right field. Maybe, just maybe, but I don't think he's interesting enough for the White Sox to actually pick him up. And I think Ian's saying he's a local guy, or that might be Austin Voth. No, yeah, he's a local guy, a family friend sent his kid to him for hitting lessons in the offseason for a few years. So, I mean, maybe, but with him having no options, it seems like Lenyn Sosa if Lenyn Sosa was a lefty. Like this is a guy that's really selling out for power, really selling out power to the pull side. It seems like that's going to be something that could be fairly exposed. If he's playing in Charlotte and hitting 30 homers, sure, why not? But I don't think that they'd be able to get him onto the 40-man and then off the 40-man. And I just think it's fairly convoluted to pick him up. But maybe. I think Uncle Ted mentioned the Yankees dropping Yanquiel Fernandez. I'm not interested in Fernandez. I'd be more interested in Suwinski than Yanquiel Fernandez. But Fernandez last year at the major league level, 138 at-bats, 225 average, 265 on base percentage, 348 slugging percentage. You look at the PCL numbers too. They're not that wowing. 284, 347, 502 all looks fine on the surface. But again, when you look and consider the atmosphere, the environment, the PCL is very, very, very hitters friendly. So, if it was more of a 950 OPS, sure. But I'm not interested in Yankiel. I'm a little bit more interested in Jack Sawinski. But if they don't pick him up, it's not a deal breaker. We'll be back tomorrow for the CHGO White Sox podcast. We'll be back at 5 p.m. here on the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribing to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. I think we'll talk a little bit more about Billy Carlson tomorrow. So if you want to have a little Billy Carlson time, come join us at 5 p.m. As we will chat about
Real quick, Sean, what's that little thing next to you?
Oh, I did get a gift.
Sean
Shout out to my
gift.
beautiful wife who got this after I said, hey, I want this. This is something from the people over at New Crafters. And this was a part of, I think, the 2004 White Sox season that was presented by Brookfield Zoo. And as you can see, this is manager Ozzie Guillen, who his first year was 2004. Under him, as this is rushing nesting dolls, you have Mark Burley, soon to be 2005 World Series champion. And I love that he's in the gray Chicago script jerseys. Very nice here. And then the coup de grace, the final nesting doll, is 2003 AL American League starter Esteban Loaiza, who is notably arrested on drug trafficking charges. So, yeah, fun little gift there. So shout out to Maddie for that. We're going to take a break here on the CHGO White Sox podcast. We're going to take a break so long. We'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. Thank you to Sarah for producing the show. I am Sean Anderson. We will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.
We all silly like the mayor.